up, party peeps? It's your man Fernando G here with yet another edition of the Mixdowns DJ2DJ. As you know, we always got talented DJs and producers. Today is no exception. Let's welcome Whipped Cream to the show. How you doing, girl?
I'm good. I'm good. Enjoying the sun over here on Vancouver Island today.
That is cool. Yeah, we were just talking offline about how crazy the weather has been everywhere. And now, how many days of coldness did you have over there?
Every day. It's cold today. I mean, I can't complain. I really like the four seasons, so I love living here and making music here and being outside. But it's been, honestly, this winter has been quite warm compared to other winters that I've lived here. So no complaints, but it is cold right now. I mean, it's February 24th today, so
Yeah.
we're still in winter.
There you go. There you go. All right, so let's get into it. We always talk about how things got started with the DJs. Now, your story is interesting, and I have to say that you and I have one thing in common, and that is that we both have metal in our ankle.
Okay. We're bionic brothers.
Right? Except that I think that your unfortunate accident happened a little more graceful than mine. So let's talk briefly about that. Now, you started actually ice skating at a very young age, correct?
Yeah, probably like around 4 or 5, I was on the ice. And then was put into professional lessons around 7 or 8 and skated
Wow.
up until 19.
Wow, that's huge. That's huge. And you were actually training for the Olympics, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that was the goal to compete in the Olympics. And yeah, one day I went to the rink. I was practicing triple toe loops and just fell super, honestly, super awkward. I
Wow.
didn't know it
Now,
was
what's a
break at
triple
first.
toe loop?
So I'm kind of a weirdo. I skate opposite than most people. I think only 5% of the world skates like I do, which is hilarious because being a female producer in the male industry, it's kind of the
Yeah.
same numbers.
Right, right,
But
right.
most people, when they, let's say, do an axel, they're jumping this way. And when I do an axel, I'm jumping this way.
The other way.
So I always was going the other way in the rink when most people would go this way. It's called a left-handed skater, but I'm
Uh-huh.
right-handed. It doesn't really make sense. But essentially, um, you take off on your right foot for me, and then I would turn backwards and put my left foot behind me and my toe loop up in
Mm.
the air 3.5 times, and then back on your left foot skating backwards. So
Wow.
start forwards, do a turn, toe loop, triple. So, anyways, I was doing those, and yeah, I just felt awkward.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and when I felt like I obviously knew something was wrong, like I felt like I was gonna projectile vomit from the
Oh, my
pain,
gosh.
but
Yeah.
I didn't really have any emotion, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And then that night, I obviously had to go to the hospital, and when they told me you're going to need surgery to be able to even skate again, I was like, what are you like? I couldn't believe it, you
Oh
know?
my gosh,
Yeah.
that must have been devastating. Yeah, like I said, your accident was a little more graceful than mine. I actually fell down a flight of steps, but
Oh,
when I landed, my foot ended up twisting. So basically, picture you're looking down at your right foot, and the bottom of your foot is literally like an L shape. So the only thing that didn't happen was that the bone didn't protrude. So I got lucky there.
gosh.
And when you were talking about the pain, the interesting thing was that when I fell, in the instant, I said like, "How the heck did I fall?" Then I looked at my ankle, and the pain just came in, boom, and I was like, "Whoa!" So
Wow.
I feel you. I feel you. But so you have to deal with this, right? I mean, you have your dream of, being in the Olympics and all. This happens and you're out of commission. And 2 years later, something changes. What happens?
It's crazy because it was literally overnight. People are like, things don't happen overnight, but like
Right.
it was all of my life experiences that led me to the overnight decision making, which
Hmm.
felt very right. I think that there's like a blind faith in life that we all have. We want the best for ourselves and other people. And I think that my blind faith and just trusting that something was going to come out of this. And I had no idea for those 2 years. Like I worked full time at a call center.
Mm,
Um, I was gonna just go travel. I didn't really know what to do with my life or what was gonna happen. This was all I knew at the time.
mhm,
And so I think just having blind faith in what I couldn't see, I had no idea what direction I was going to go, and just saying yes to things that excited me at the time in those 2 years. So, for instance, I mean, I had a friend just give me a call and ask me to join them at a music festival, and I had never gone to a music festival, and I'd always really loved music, but
mm,
I was so stubborn in no, I'm going to work full time, save money. I didn't come from any money, and I'm gonna go to Australia and travel. And that was kind of what
mm.
where my soul was going at that time in my life, because all I had done with my whole entire life was figure skate. So I pretty much got dragged to this music festival. I wanted to go, but I also wanted to save money.
Right, right.
And I ended up getting dragged to that music festival. And it's just interesting that me going there and seeing a new a new way of life and all these things that I really did enjoy since I was a child, which was music, and feeling connection, like as one with music, which I
Mhm.
never really got to experience that as a figure skater. It was always me and the ice and my judges or my parents or close friends, but it was at the time extremely judgmental, and you didn't really get to express yourself, and it wasn't so much an art form, and that's how
Right.
I viewed it at the time in my life.
Mhm.
So I'm really happy that I just kind of, even though I did get physically dragged to the music festival, I did have to say yes to go, and
Right.
that's kind of what led me to realizing what I was called to do, which was, it was all very weird.
That's
Very weird
wild.
time. Yeah.
No, I like that you discovered it. It was almost like destiny was calling you, because I mean, right after that, you get yourself enabled in DAW, and you start working. You start doing your things. Now, prior to this, did you have any musical experience other than what you were dancing to and stuff? You
No.
didn't know any instruments. You didn't
No.
nothing. No production.
Mm-mm. No, like honestly, I couldn't even. This is what is so beautiful about my life experience. When I first started, I couldn't even drum like on a beat, like drum to a beat.
Hmm, hmm.
And when I first started, there was YouTube. That was pretty much it to
Yeah.
learn. I didn't really know many people that produced, never mind any woman that produced. I
Hmm.
wasn't, I didn't grow up with any of it. I mean, my uncle was a musician. My dad always had music playing as a kid. I could feel music. I was always known as the person that was the most artistic on the ice, because I can just, like a dancer, like I could
Right.
just feel music and I felt one with
You had the
music.
rhythm.
Yeah, exactly. And good taste. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like that was something I was given, like burning CDs at the rink for all the competitions, and I was always the person playing the music. So I think that's the real beauty of it though, because I put in so many hours. I was able to push away happiness in the moment of those like 2 or 3 years that I started to learn, to go into the unknown, learn how to swim, learn a new language. But it was like a calling, and I was like deeply depressed as soon as I found my calling, because I knew I physically couldn't do it at that time and I
Hmm.
needed to learn. And
Right.
it was like this thing, and my all my friends and family were like I don't know what was going on, honestly, but I went back home, and then I just started watching YouTube videos, and the greatest thing about a YouTube video is I was able to pause the YouTube and like kind of look on where to put the drums and blah blah
Yeah.
blah, and then just time and time and time again. Obviously now DJing also helps with the counts and all that, but
Exactly.
even to this day, like I'm just having fun and playing in my playground, and I don't. I'm always learning, and I just feel really blessed to be following my flow. There's no real like I didn't go to like a school or
Mhm.
anything like that. It's just following my flow state and my love for music,
I
really.
love that. That is huge. That's awesome. Because I just feel that, like I said, this, what we could say was kind of like a little tragedy, actually was almost like saying, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be here, you know?
Hmm.
And I have to tell you, girl, you got some talent, man. I mean, for somebody who started with no class, no musical background, I mean, I've been listening to your stuff, and your new album is sounding legit. I love it. And I got to tell you right
Oh,
now, my
thanks.
favorite is Real for Me. That is my favorite one right
Thank
now. I've been enjoying
you.
that one.
That's a great record.
It's good. It's really good. And but prior to this single, you started producing stuff, and then you also did some stuff on Skrillex platform, right?
Yeah, on his early blog, Nest HQ, I did my first EP. Well, not my first EP. I would say that was, I think, my second or third EP at the time. It was like a three-song thing called Persistence. And yeah, it was a really nice, honorable platform to be a part of, like when I was first starting out. And those were some of the first original songs I had made, and they performed really, really well, actually. So I'm really proud of those songs. In particular, the record Ignorant. I love that
Ignorant. I was
song.
about to tell you about that one. I was gonna say, how did you get the inspiration for that creation right there? Because that one's pretty trippy.
Yeah, totally. So a lot of my early day stuff, because I wasn't singing and I was just getting a lot of influence from cinematic albums, movies. I really
Hmm.
liked the dark side of life when I was younger. I would say I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I would see the beauty and like the darkness to the light and stuff like that, and the depth
Hmm.
in that. So when I was writing Ignorant, I was really hurt and confused, and not understanding why I wasn't being accepted. And also, I felt like I was spending a lot of time working on my craft, and I was wondering why. This is before, obviously, NSHQ picked it up, but
Hmm.
why nobody wanted to kind of be a part of what I was doing. I felt really alone. At the time, I didn't have a manager or an agent, and I was just kind of starting out when I first started.
Hmm.
And I just noticed a lot of people online, which I'm really good at dealing with now, but just judging or writing just awful things. And they didn't really understand where I came from, who I am, how hard I actually did work for that. I wasn't making any money at the time. I was
Hmm.
poor. I was broke, like honestly so broke, but I wasn't gonna give up, even if it meant I was never gonna make money at this. That's the people don't get that though when they're living in wherever they're living and they're just
Right.
kind of judging me. So when I made ignorant, I just thought of the word ignorant, which is super simple, and I was like, I'm gonna make a song that like portrays this feeling. And at the time, I was still learning how to make music, and I wasn't singing, and I wasn't working with other artists, so I just found this cool sample on Spice, ignorant, and then I just started pulling
That's
sounds together.
amazing.
It was all sample based. I manipulated audio, I transposed samples down. I still didn't really know what I was doing. And then when I put that song out, I started getting reputable producers DMing me on
Right.
SoundCloud in the early days, like, "How
Yeah.
did you do this? How did you do that?" I'm like, I don't know, like, just
It
vibing.
just came together.
It's just real. It's just real. It was just real. Like
That's
real.
awesome.
That's all I can say. It was like how I was feeling with all the tools I had at the time with
Right,
what I
right.
was taught.
What I find interesting is that you were actually literally you were just experimenting, and
Yeah.
it was coming together, and like you were talking about how there's people just trash talking and stuff like that. And I always go back, when I first started in radio, I was all excited, I was getting known, and everybody's like, oh cool, Fernando G this, Fernando G that. Then I started getting people, this guy, this and that, blah blah, and that brings you down, man. That really does. But I'll never forget, the program director says, he starts laughing at me, and I go, why are you laughing, dude? I go, these people are talking crap about me. And he goes, dude, that's how you know you made it. When you got haters, that means that you made it. And I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, you know. Then
Yeah, you're
after that,
making
it's just
people
like
think. You're making people think. You're making people uncomfortable. You're
exactly.
also helping other people by being who you are and stepping into your light, and it can intimidate people, but
Hmm.
it outweighs all the negative stuff. So I'm really glad that you kept doing what you're doing. And like,
Yeah.
I actually have more haters now than I did when I started, but it just doesn't impact me anymore.
Yeah.
It's really rare that any of that can impact me because
Yeah.
we're not hurting anybody by being who
Exactly.
we are, right? It's kind of an
Exactly.
exciting role that we get to be ourselves.
I love it. I love it. Your attitude is just phenomenal, and I'm glad that you're talking about this because this is a real important topic for up and coming DJs and producers that are just getting started off the way you were back then. And that's what I love, and that again, that's what this platform is all about. So those
All
people
right,
can
awesome.
take a listen and say, you know what, yeah, she's right. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep at it. And another thing is that there's a friend of mine, Byron Brizuela. He works for BMG, and when I first started, releasing stuff, I was like, well, I don't really care for my sound. He goes, no, 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 no. He goes, don't ever say that. He goes, you release. Just keep releasing, regardless of what it sounds like. Keep releasing. Remember, the world is huge, and somebody's gonna fall in love with whatever you put out. And I was like, you know what,
That's
you're right.
beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So we come up, and actually, let me go back a little bit. When you started doing this, were there any DJs that influenced you that said, I like that? That's catching my attention? Who would that be?
Yeah. Like people that reach out to me or like my own personal
Your own
influences.
personal, like people that you started looking up to that, you enjoyed their sound and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So really early day when I started like SoundCloud hunting and learning what I liked and what I didn't like. I really liked this DJ called Falcons. And they had a club. I believe Prom Night was in it. This DJ named Kittens was in it. And they made a lot of Jersey club and kind of Cashmere Cat R&B remixes and edits type of stuff. I thought they were just like the coolest collective. And then early day DJ Slink, lots of Jersey club and R&B and rap edits really inspired me. Bauer, I really loved a lot of Bauer's, not as big hits, but like
Mm-hmm.
Winter's All Over You, or
Okay.
I
Yeah, yeah,
might
yeah.
be murdering that title, but there was a lot of Bauer's early day stuff that was so good. And the mixes and masters were respectfully were not great, but it was just they were just so creative and so full of soul and heart. And I truly believe Bauer is one of the most creative producers out there that I've ever heard in the electronic field. People might think he's overrated or whatever they say about him, but I think he's one of the coolest dudes. Jamie XX to this day is my favorite DJ. I just really enjoy his sound.
Yeah.
I really like Save Delisa. I know she's not so much a DJ, but she makes a lot of electronic influence type of music.
Mm-hmm.
She's really inspired me. Her ethereal sound I really enjoy. I love Skrillex's DJ sets. You can't go wrong with this
Yeah.
a DJ set. Ariel Grime, Porter Robinson's Project Virtual Self really inspired me when that came out. And then just like early day EDM, like even like Calvin Harris,
Mm-hmm.
Avicii, things like that really inspired me too.
That's
I think
cool.
even right now they're inspiring me. That nostalgia sound is
Yeah.
really inspiring me right now. I'm kind of trying to feel those feelings I had when I first started listening to dance music, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to incorporate it in my sound right now in my life,
Oh,
to
that's
share
really
with
cool
others.
because you're actually
Yeah.
grabbing from many different styles and stuff, and you're twisting it into your own, which is really cool. Now, did you? Now you're singing now, also, right? Nice. Did you
Yeah.
take any voice lessons or anything like that? No.
No, the closest I got to a singing lesson was 7 years ago. Um, this was with one of my first managers, and my manager comes to my show, and it's a big show. I don't remember what it's probably EDC or something like crazy. There's like 15,000 people there. And my manager comes, it's one of my first shows, and I did well, but my manager goes, your mic skills, like you sound like a little chipmunk. I was like, put your hands up, make some noise for me. And like no one could understand what I was saying. Like
Right, right.
respectfully, I thought they could, but so my manager put me in voice lessons, and not to sing. It was to speak down into, I believe, my
Yeah.
diaphragm
Yep.
frame, whatever this is called.
Yeah.
And I have to use a lower voice.
Yeah.
Make some noise,
There
and
you
like,
go.
and so that's why I'm really good on the mic now because
You know how to
that,
bust it out. You know how to
yeah,
project properly.
yeah. But with singing, no, no lessons. I haven't watched a video about
Oh
singing.
my gosh. You
I
just
am
got
just good at
pure
manipulating
raw
audio.
talent. That's what you
Oh,
got,
thank you.
natural talent. Because I mean, when people start hearing your voice and stuff like that, like honestly, when I first started hearing your stuff, I thought you were doing whatever many producers do, which is just grab a voice, splice or whatever, and do their thing. But the fact that you're actually doing it, girl, you are well on your way. All right, so the album's coming out April 30th on vinyl. And can you tell everybody where they can find you, your socials, website, all that kind of good stuff?
Yeah, so most of my socials are just whipped cream. You find me on Instagram. That's the main platform that I share a lot of things on, but whipped cream on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, YouTube, and then you can find all my tour dates, my merch, and my vinyl sale to buy if you'd like, on my website, whippedcreammusic.com.
Sweet. Awesome. Caroline, thank you so much for being here with us. I really appreciate you. Again, you are definitely a talent. Your story is amazing. And I can't wait for my listeners to hear your mix on the Mixdown. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
All right. And you that's watching and listening, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. If you want to hear more of Whipped Cream, don't forget to check out the Mixdown because she's going to be laying down a set there real soon. Thanks again, my sister. Really appreciate you.
Likewise. Thank you, Fernando.